Spotlighting local efforts that help make our community more sustainable. Sustain Rockford holds its monthly meeting Wednesday evening at Prairie Street Brew House. Tonight's key speaker was Julie Urim, Executive Director of Nature at the Confluence. She says that there are more ways to help our environment than through action, adding that simply listening can also play a big role in that effort.
Protecting the environment is a very social issue, and so taking steps such as meeting someone new, going to an event to hear a different person's perspective than your own, these are really vital things that we can do to make our community stronger and more sustainable.